Welcome back to the podcast. This is actually part 2 of Benny's time here on the show. If you haven't seen part 1, then definitely go check it out. That is where we talk to Benny about Benji's adventures, his theme park Tycoon 2 channel. As today we are talking to Benny about his Benny Productions channel, which is his Photoshop channel, and also Brick Built Benny, which is his Lego channel. But hey, if you haven't already, please do subscribe. I'd really appreciate that. Hey, grab your fish and chips, get comfy, because this is the Notme Hour. Welcome back. This is part 2, guys. If you missed part 1, go ahead and check that out. The link will be in the description and up in the corner somewhere. Hey Benny, how you doing? You're still good? Hello. You're still good?
Still doing great.
Lovely, lovely. Thank you so much for joining us on here on the part 2 of the podcast.
Yes.
Now, before anything, can you tell us a bit about Benny Productions in particular? We talked about, you know, his theme park Tycoon 2 last episode. Now today we're going to talk about your Photoshop and also your Lego channel later on. Can you tell us a little bit about what they are?
Well, on my Photoshop channel, I started making videos about Photoshop. Crazy, I know.
No way.
But it's always been focused on entertaining and not really educational. So it's not tutorials. Right. It's really mainly just me making fun stuff and showing that to you. And yeah, over the course of, 5 years, I have made tons of videos about a whole bunch of different Photoshop crafts, and it's been pretty fun.
Yeah, I've done a lot of research, obviously, for this video, and also I just watched some of them, just, you know, in my free time as well, because they are some great videos, and I just gotta say, you know, I suck at graphic design, but you are an absolute master, my friend, alright? I just gotta say, you might not think that, but, you know, I can't do it. I can't do what you do, alright? But it obviously took you, I don't know if you know, I doubt you started and, you know, master straight away, right? Because I don't think anyone could do that, you know? But how long would you say it took for you to get good at graphic design?
Oh god. Well, to be fair, I've always been, like, from the point I could use a computer, I have used computers.
Right.
First for gaming, then when I was very little, I actually already tried making little videos of myself on my phone, like my Galaxy S1. Crazy. And it was really dumb stuff, but it was just for myself and for fun.
Of course.
And eventually I found out that you can edit videos on your computer, so I tried doing that. And then I started making YouTube videos under the name Benny Productions Games.
Games?
I know. And I was just Minecraft Let's Plays. And it was
we need to see those.
No,
you
really
need to see those.
It was horrible. It was Dutch as well.
But,
how old was I? I was like 13.
Oh, wow.
I have no idea. Like young. Very young. Like 14-ish. That didn't work, so I started making vlogs. And over time, I just got slightly better and better at video editing. Vlogs were a lot more fun. If I watch them back now, I'm like, yeah, there's some redeeming qualities to them. But it was really after I started studying graphic design that I really got into it on a more advanced level. I will say the actual study itself was trash. Didn't learn a lot from the actual people there. I mostly just taught myself because I was just above their level, I guess, which is very unfortunate. But I had to teach the teachers things. Interesting.
No way.
So yeah, I guess just over the course of since I was 12 until now, I've always been learning new things. And I've always had an interest in it too, so that helped.
Yeah, obviously, yeah. Would you have what tips would you have for anyone trying to actually get into Photoshop?
This is gonna sound depressing, but right now, don't get into Photoshop because it's. I'm sure we're gonna touch on this later on in the video, but AI, among other things, has made Photoshop a pretty obsolete. Technical craft. Like, as far as art goes, it can never become obsolete because art is art and art will always be personal. However, what I do isn't necessarily art. It was more just making cool things. And so slowly but surely AI is going to overtake the technical use of Photoshop. And so right now, unless it's really for art purposes, I would say don't. Like, it's not really worth getting into that deeply now because there are so many other tools that are just way easier and quicker.
Yeah, don't they have like a generative fill or something? Or I don't know how that works, but it's crazy.
You can just generate anything. It's
out of
crazy.
literally just a text. You can generate like what would probably cost like if you couldn't do that yourself, it would probably cost like thousands to hire someone to do that or something. Not thousands, like hundreds.
Yeah.
And it just does it in a second, which is just mental.
Yep.
It's insane.
And it's only gonna get better.
What type of you do a wide range of Photoshop videos. You've done like build battles. You've done, I think you have done a few tutorials here and there, but you have done mainly like series and stuff like that. There's a lot of stuff we'll get into, but what content do you prefer to make out of everything? Like what type is there a series that you like prefer to keep doing, or
well, definitely not tutorials, but I have had a series called Realisticified where I basically turn viewers' drawings into cool renditions, like realistic versions of it using Photoshop. That has probably been my most influential series too. That's what helped me really blow up.
Yeah.
Even though now I don't really like making those anymore, that has always been my main kind of thing, my favorite thing to do.
I think those are some of your most popular videos. If
Yeah, one has 11 million views.
What? 11 million? That's insane. I thought they were like episode 4 million and whatnot. Oh, episode 3. It's funny that wasn't episode 1.
Yeah, I know. But that has like 1.7 million, I think.
Oh, blimey, okay. That is still good.
Yeah.
I'd imagine it takes ages for a project to be completed. Just any project. For graphic design, it's going to take forever, and especially then you create a video on top of it. How long would you say your longest project to date was?
Oh God, I have no idea. One that comes to mind is the Christmas Photoshop battle that I did a few years ago, which was basically me against 3 other artists, and that video specifically took a long time to edit.
Yeah.
But then also recently I did a video about 3D printing, which has also taken like a month.
No, a month? No way.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't like a month only work, but like over the course of a month, I've been working on that. It has taken a long time.
Yeah, we're going to talk about much more about your 3D printing and all that sort of stuff, that video, later on. Yeah, you've done a lot of projects. What has been your toughest, would you say? What's been the hardest one for you to do? One that you properly struggled at?
That is a good question. Well, sometimes what would happen is I made a video, but then a sponsor would come in and it would just take forever to, get approved or whatever. And then I wanted to render the video, and then some technical difficulties would arise, and it would just make the whole thing insanely tedious. Having to render it 20 times before it actually finally worked.
Right.
After a lot of sweating and a lot of swearing. That always really sucks.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But yeah, I don't know if there was like a specific video that I didn't like making. I mean, some I liked more than others, of course.
Well, of course, yeah. I think that's just natural. But, going back on your second channel, which we talked about last episode, Benji's Adventures. You've started... We're not going to talk about theme parts. I do about the whole entire thing, but don't worry. Trust me, this will flow into it. Benji's Adventures, you started a new series. If you don't know, Benny's got a second channel. New series on it, Hero X Villains. The first thing, when I clicked on that video, the first thing that caught my eye was the 5-second intro you did. That's in every episode, which is insane. I could watch it on a loop. I don't know whether it's the music or just the mix of the music and the what was it called, like the visuals. I could just watch it for days. It's so satisfying and it's like a cinematic masterpiece. That's if you want to call it that. But what was the process you go through to make all of those I assume you make them in After Effects, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the process you go through to make those overlays and intros?
Well, usually I start with making like a logo. This one was no different. I began with the movie park logo, and after that I just kind of... Usually that gives me ideas for an animation for it.
Right, yes.
And I already knew I wanted to do something similar to the Marvel intro, where you have a bunch of stuff going on in the background, like comics and scenes from movies as the logo appears. something like that, but of course different enough so it's not a ripoff.
Yeah.
And so that's when I came up with just the logo kind of appearing as a bunch of important scenes from heroes and villains movies play in the background. What also usually does help is the music. Like, I picked out the music beforehand so I could really time everything onto the music.
Of course,
which helps so much. So yeah.
How long would you say it took to make just that one intro?
Well, I made all the graphics for Benny's Movie Park 3 in one day, including the thing.
Oh wow!
I have no idea actually. I work really fast. But I don't I don't know how long. It's not that complex actually.
Really?
It looks more complex than it is.
Yeah, I could not do that. I'm gonna be real. Yeah, I can't. But would you? I know you don't do tutorials, but would you ever like I don't know what the word is, but would you ever create a tutorial on those just sick intros? Or like
no, definitely not.
What's the one thing that draws you away from tutorials?
It's just boring as hell, dude. Like, tutorials usually means you have to make something boring because that way you can show how it works most easily, which is already boring in itself. Yeah. But also just I have this thing where I'm very good at what I do, but I don't know why I do what I do. I just know. And so I can never explain why I do something, why I make a decision, because in my head it just makes sense. All I can think is, yeah, that would look pretty cool. And I have no real explanation beyond it would look really cool. So if I wanted to make educational content, it would just suck because I would never know how to explain why I do something, which is the essence of tutorials.
yeah. That makes sense. To be fair, that makes sense. That's fair enough. Going back onto, you mentioned Realistify, which is a series where you turn your viewers' drawings into realistic artwork. Like literally just sketch drawings, like crayons and whatnot. Well, not crayons, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
What gave you the idea to start a series like that? That's such a cool idea.
I think I saw someone else do it on Instagram. There's a dad. I think he's a dad, and he turns his child's drawings into realistic images. Except he does it in like an actual realistic way. Mine are very cartoony and very extravagant and fantasy based. And his are like real animals. So usually the child would like draw like an elephant with really bad proportions. And he would then Photoshop that elephant realistically, but within those proportions. And it would look really wonky, of course. But they would always look realistic, whereas mine are not realistic, actually, but just, like a cool 3D version of it.
Yes.
So that's the difference. But that's what inspired it, for sure.
How long would an average episode of that take?
Usually 3 to 4 hours.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Bro, you're fast at this. How do you do that?
I just lock in and then I speed run that.
Oh man, that's really cool. You've also done another series where you turn yourself into different TV and movie characters.
Right, yes.
Like SpongeBob, Megamind, and Gru, just a few of them. You're really cursed. Really cursed.
Very much.
Because of how realistic you make them, and also you make them look like you which if making them realistic isn't cursed enough, which would you say was the most cursed in your opinion out of all the ones
definitely
you've made?
Barry B. Benson from B Movie.
yeah
by far the worst.
I saw that one. Yep.
But I do like the Megamind one the best because of just how good it looks.
It looks crazy.
I could pass for a Megamind. It's crazy. So yeah.
Would you like to do more types of those videos? Because I really enjoyed them, to be real.
Well, I would, except they don't do very well.
Right.
Unfortunately. So that's why I usually I don't really do that sort of content anymore. In general, Photoshop is kind of dying. So.
Right. What do you think? Dude, is there like something that you think could help Photoshop not to die?
I don't think you can stop it. I think some things sometimes just become popular, and then after a while they become not popular.
Right.
And I just happened to hop on the train right when it started, and I became the biggest guy in the whole community instantly.
Really?
Somehow. But now it's just the end of an era, I guess. It's over and it's been fun. But it's also just okay to kind of allow that to be done, I think. need to move on.
Your Photoshop channel hasn't always been Photoshop. Like, you know, most recently, actually, your most recent videos, you know, you've delved into 3D printing, which is really cool. Why did you want to start 3D printing?
Well, a few people around me that I have been around recently, have shown me 3D printed related stuff. For example, my nephew had a 3D printer.
Right.
And I saw him a few months ago, and he showed me some stuff he made. I was like, yeah, that's pretty cool. I always knew 3D printing existed. I just never really got into it because I thought, yeah, I don't know. But then someone else recently, I met someone else recently who also made like figures similarly to what I did. And I was like, yeah, I mean, it is pretty cool. And then an old friend of mine also started 3D printing. So just a bunch of people together combined, I guess, inspired me to finally start, because I've always wanted to secretly, but I just never did. But then I was like, you know what, I should just try it. I just have to do it, because if not now, then when?
Right, of course, yeah. Was there something that you found really difficult? Because that was your first time in that video, I think, right?
Yeah.
That was your first time. Was there something that you found really difficult when you tried it for the first time?
Well, the 3D printing part was actually very, very easy, because I bought a very user-friendly printer. Like you can basically plug it in and it instantly works, and you have to do basically nothing for it to work.
Really?
But the painting of the figure, that was really difficult.
Oh, yeah, I can imagine.
I did underestimate that a great deal. But that's not technically 3D printing, so yeah.
Oh, yeah, it does bring it to life, though, for sure. It's a big part of it.
It does, yeah.
Yeah. Do you plan on creating, like, I think you mentioned in the video that you want to continue making 3D printing, or you'd be interested in making more 3D printing stuff. Do you plan on creating your own 3D prints? Like your most recent one was a xenomorph, if I'm getting that correct, right?
Yes.
I've not watched that movie. I haven't watched a lot of stuff. you may know. No, but you know, that's from a movie. Do you plan on creating some unique 3D prints, like of Fury, for example? Yeah.
Actually, now that you mentioned that, I do have an idea in the pipeline that I might actually do, which I haven't told anyone yet. So here it is.
Okay.
I plan to make a video where I create my own action figure.
No way.
Similarly to the Fury figure that I sold. And that would mean that I first try and come up with a concept for the figure. Then I would learn Blender to actually create that figure in 3D.
Course, yeah.
Then I would have to print that figure, paint that figure. Then I would have to hop onto Photoshop and create packaging for that figure. Then put the actual packaging together into a physical product. And then maybe make like a cool promotional video for it or something. And that all in one video. It's going to be diabolical.
Yeah. that sounds like a lot that has to go into that. I can't lie.
That is going to be my most insane project yet.
I can't wait.
If I actually do it.
Yeah, if you do it, that sounds so sick. Like you mentioned about, like, you know, turning it into a product. Would you actually ever sell your 3D prints?
That depends. If it ends up being like an actual hobby and I end up with a bunch of random statues that I build, then sure, I could start selling them. But I doubt that's gonna happen, because I have so many things I like to do, so many things to spend my time on. I can't see myself dedicating so much time to just 3D printing. So yeah, I don't know.
You just mentioned about doing it for, like, as a hobby. Could you see yourself doing 3D printing for like the years to come?
It really all depends. Like if it gets a lot of views, if people really like it, if it, you know, sparks an interest in myself and other people, then yeah, sure, I could see this become like a thing and try to create like cool video ideas around it. It really depends, because if people don't really care and if it doesn't really get picked up, then it might be cool to do for myself, but I can't dedicate too much business time on it, because essentially I'm losing money at that point. So
yeah,
it depends. Like as far as I like it, then yeah, sure, it could become a thing. But it also depends on the popularity.
Just going on something completely different. Something else I wanted to talk about was a few years ago. You made some music videos. That is very different from your usual Photoshop content. I know, like, they weren't just, you know, a 3-minute video. They were attached to, like, you know, build battles, just I think one was actually just by itself. I might be wrong. And I can't lie.
Yeah, there was
music,
one Christmas one.
Yeah. I can't lie. The music goes hard. They made five in total. What made you start music videos? It's so different.
Well, as a child, I really liked making music. I've played drums. I currently play piano still. I have a piano at home. So music has always been a big part of my life, and I had already created music before, and I thought it would be fun to kind of use that skill in my content somehow.
Yeah.
And with like the Halloween Photoshop battle thing, I somehow saw as an opportunity to finally do that, and I made like a insane intro, which is sort of a music video-ish type thing. And for the first time, I actually used my own voice as well for singing, which is not something I'm comfortable with at all. But I thought I just wanted to try and see if I could. I know I can't sing, but I can edit it in a way where it sounds acceptable.
It sounded really good. I can't lie. The Benny Spooky
Edit War. Benny Spooky Edit War.
That went hard. I can't lie. That was really good.
That is my favorite one for sure.
Yeah. What was the process of actually making a music video? Because
so different.
Yeah, I can imagine.
For the first time, I didn't have to worry about audio. I could just record shots.
Right.
And it didn't matter where or what. I didn't need microphones because it was just, visuals.
Yeah.
So that was fun. It was a lot of green screen stuff, especially for the one in 2022, like the third Edit War transformations.
Right.
That had, of course, the intro with me turning into a werewolf. Very subtle, but still. That was a lot of green screen and a lot of really crazy effects I'd never done before. So it was a very new experience with a lot of experimenting.
Yeah, I can imagine. I think every shot was just another green screen, to be fair.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Actually, I don't know why. This just popped into my head. Well, you know the KSI thing going around. From the screen to the ring to the pen to the king. What are your thoughts on the meme going around at the moment?
Look, the song isn't very good, but it's also nowhere near as bad as everybody pretends it is.
No, I can't.
It's just like the whole Lunchable situation also didn't help.
No, I think it just posted at the wrong time, but maybe it's what he wanted to be real. Maybe.
But also like the song is, especially the music, it just isn't it. I think it just doesn't click with people. It sounds a bit goofy.
Right. It sounds very corporate.
Yeah, because I've heard many different versions with the same lyrics and just a different beat, and it's a lot better. So I don't think the hate he gets is deserved, but it's also not a good song.
Yeah. I can't help but whenever I listen to it though, it's just like, bro, it just gets stuck in your head. So he's done something right.
It does.
I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is.
Especially the part with from the
screen to the ring to the pen to the king.
Especially that, it gets stuck in your head.
Bro, it got stuck in my head so much that I actually know the freaking lyrics. Oh, this is how the story goes.
Oh, don't get me started.
We're actually going to go on to talking about your Brick Built Benny channel. I want to start talking a bit about that. Where you make reviews on Lego sets, right? You make a whole bunch of, I think it's just mainly Lego set reviews. What made you want to start a channel that just solely just on Lego?
Like, I wanted to know if I could. Basically, like I would watch a lot of tutorials of Lego because I just really like Lego, and I was like, I feel like I can make this better. It was a bit arrogant actually why I started, but that was the reason. I was like, I want to make a tutorial that I myself would love to watch, basically. And so I tried making it the best I possibly could as kind of an experiment, which is also why I don't upload a lot. It's really just for me. Like, if I feel like making a video on there, I will, but only then. It will never become like a grind, basically.
Yeah, I gotta say the videos are great. The little like Lego noises, very satisfying.
I know, right? I love that too.
It's so satisfying. What makes you want to do a review on Lego sets? Because I don't know how frequent. I'm not I'm not too much into Lego. I was a lot more into Lego when I was younger. I got like the Lego Friends set. I got. Probably my favorite is the Black Pearl, Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh yeah,
I love the Pirates of the Caribbean. So cool. I also got some like fake Lego. I don't know. It's like, you know, Bendy and the Ink Machine Lego. I got so much. But so I don't know how frequent Lego sets come out. Not as much into it now. But what makes you want to actually do a review?
Well, at first it was just because I just liked the set, or I thought I had something to say about it.
Right.
Something useful, something unique.
Yeah.
Usually just if I like it. Like most Star Wars sets I like. It depends. Not everything, but most. Yeah, and it was just timing, I guess. Sometimes new sets would come out and I'd be like, yeah, that's pretty cool to review. So
Yeah, that's fair
not
enough,
really
yeah.
a lot of thought behind it.
Do you have like a favorite like Lego set? Not necessarily one that you've reviewed, just, you know, of all time. I don't know if I'll know it, but
The Ultimate Collector's Edition AT-AT, which is big Star Wars
big Star Wars tank thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what that is.
Very
I know
cool.
what that is. That yeah. Is it like literally huge, or is it a little dinky one?
It's huge. It's massive.
I could not build a massive thing like that. It would take me like 5 years.
It was a little bit tedious because it has 4 legs and every leg was identical. So you have to build the same thing 4 times.
Are you ever worried it would just fall over? And it just
No. It's
slap?
really sturdy actually.
Oh, really?
And it's in like a glass display closet thing, so
fine,
it's
yeah.
fine.
The last video you uploaded on that channel was 3 months ago. Do you plan on continuing to upload on this channel, like, ever, really?
Well, it's really, as I said, like whenever I will feel like it, I will make a new video, but
Right.
it really depends on my mood. And recently I've just been doing a lot of other stuff. It's really just my least, like my last priority. Like
Yeah.
it's last on the list.
I think that's all the questions that I have for you today, Benny. A bit of a shorter episode today, but thank you so much for coming on. I really, really do appreciate it. To the people,
My pleasure.
To the people listening at home, this is the end of the podcast. Hope you finished your fish and chips. Hope they were lovely. That's all that we have for today. Go check out Benny. Go subscribe to him. I'm sure you already have. Let's be real. Subscribe. Follow us on Spotify. We are here every Friday, 3 p.m. BST. Have a good one. Bye bye. Bye bye.
Bye bye.